The clip that you're about to watch features a conversation between Voddie Baucham and Glenn Beck, of all people, and they talk about what is the problem, in a sense, beneath the problem that America is facing today. It's super interesting. Let's dive into it.
I feel like we're battling evil. We are not, I keep saying on the air, it's not Republicans versus Democrats. It's not. It is elites versus the people, but it's not really even that. It is evil against good. Can you flesh that out?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, he says, though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war according to the flesh. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important for us to keep that in mind, that we are battling. What he talks about in Ephesians chapter 2 is the prince of the power of the air, mm-hmm. right? That spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. This is a spiritual battle. It's always been a spiritual battle. And I think that we're seeing that more clearly.
There's a lot of things you can look at and say, that's evil. I can see how you get there, or, maybe not, or whatever. But the things that are happening with children, that is the one thing that, Christ wasn't really a fire and brimstone kind of guy. But when he came to harming his little ones...
Better to have a millstone tied around your neck and be thrown into the deepest part of the sea.
Right. So how is it so many people are just duped?
Well, but listen, okay, we talk about the whole idea of the millstone, but don't forget Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So we've done this before. We've come up to an issue that from a biblical perspective and from an historical perspective was something that was absolutely unthinkable, right? And we cross that line. And now, as we sit here, we're having a conversation about another line that we think should never even be approached, let alone crossed. But what history tells us is it's only a matter of time before we get to that one.
I don't know if you can ever really truly be who you are meant to be until there's a force that is pushing against you.
Yeah.
So is it a good thing to live?
No. It is. First of all, if we believe in a sovereign God, and if we believe in his providence, then we're living exactly when and where we're supposed to be living. So that's number one. And secondly, I agree with you. It's not until we face pressure and opposition that we actually see what we really believe and what we're really made of. And so, these are frightening times.
Terrifying.
But at the same time, they ought to be hope-filled times.
I love this conversation because it really raises the question of, to what extent do we as modern American Christians actually have a biblical worldview? Do we actually believe in real intelligent evil, or do we think that that's just somehow a metaphor for, the bad thoughts that we have or something like that? So I love the conversation for that point, first of all. I also love it because it talks about when that intelligent evil inflicts damage on the innocent, on children. You can think of a number of different topics that come to mind when you think about damage being done to children. And when we look at those topics, the question they're raising here is, what is stopping us from going just another step, just another step, just another step? Don't look at this through a political lens. Don't look at this in terms of right versus left. Look at this at a broader philosophical level with me for a second and think about this. If we have removed the Bible as our anchor in society, which tells us what is right and what is wrong, if we have taken God out of the playing field and put him on the sideline, if morality hasn't been given to us from above, but rather we've arrived at it from below through majority rules, through basically moral utilitarianism like J.S. Mill talked about in the Victorian era, if morality is just might makes right, then why wouldn't we go from A to B to C all the way down to Z? What would possibly keep us fixed at a certain understanding of morality? And I think this is what is way more dangerous than even any particular issue or topic, is just the fact that we've literally lost our bearing. We've stepped outside of the orbit of acceptability according to God, and we don't have a rule stick to measure anything else by. We have literally taken our measuring stick and thrown it out the window, and now we're being asked to make determinations about what is ethical. We actually need to repent. We actually need to turn. We actually need to realize that we have left God off the playing field, like I said, and put him on the sideline. And that's probably the biggest mistake that any society could make. So anyway, let's get into it in the next video. Subscribe, enjoy your daily dose of wisdom. Peace, bye.